Hello everyone, Fru here. Welcome to today's video. So guys, in today's video, we're going to be looking at this interesting read, this relevant read. And it talks about 5 reasons why you should not go to a coding bootcamp. 5 reasons why you should not go to a coding bootcamp. Now, I know a lot of you, my audience, some of you are in technology. You might have heard about coding bootcamps, or you might be looking to get into the field of technology, and somebody might have mentioned a bootcamp to you, and you're probably considering it. And so in this video, we're going to be looking at, why you should not go. A lot of articles out there will tell you why you should go, but why I really thought this was a relevant read was because of the contrarian thinking. It comes at it from a different perspective, not just why you should go, but why you should not go. All right. So before we dive into this, and this is by Matt Upham on his website, mattupham.com, I believe. Of course, the link will be left in the description below. You can definitely check out the original article for yourself. There is a video that he did for it. I will also leave a link to that video. This video can be found on YouTube on his channel, Matt Upham. So make sure you subscribe to his channel as well for this for more in-depth breakdown that he did for this. All right, so before we dive into talking about 5 reasons why you should not go to a coding bootcamp, I thought it was relevant to just maybe take a step back and give a refresher for what the bootcamp is for those of us that might not be familiar with it. So straight on Wikipedia, I did a quick search. There's a lot of definitions for what a bootcamp is, and I'm going to zoom in here really quick. But the things that really stand out and I want to call out is that bootcamps did not exist, or as popularly as we know it today prior to 2012. So this is a very new phenomenon, right? If you're thinking about the educational system that existed, many centuries ago, decades ago, or just even IT itself. IT has been around for many decades now. So, but bootcamps is a pretty new phenomenon. So it's just worth noting that this is something pretty new, right? And it really comes as kind of an option to the traditional way of education, which has typically been going to college, getting a diploma, getting a degree, and then going to the workforce, right? So boot camps is saying, well, we can do it in a different way. We can accelerate your learning and make you learn things faster. And I'll talk about that a little bit down here. What are some of the boot camps that are out there? Academy, Hack Reactor, Hack Bright Academy, General Assembly, I'm familiar with this one. Coding House, Dev Bootcamp, and you name it. There's a ton of bootcamps. If you do a quick search, you would definitely find something either in your local area or something that's available online for you to attend. And these bootcamps specialize in different areas. Some of them are doing HTML, JavaScript, Python, Ruby on Rails, PHP, you name it. Data science, machine learning. So you can find bootcamps around any area that might interest you. But the key characteristic of a bootcamp, and this is where it becomes key, is the amount of time you spend and the content that you get to learn. So the average, and this is average, span of a bootcamp is about 12 weeks, right? So the idea is they get you as a candidate, and within 12 weeks, whether on site or online, they're gonna cramp a lot of information to you to make you be competent, right? Some can go from 6 to 28 weeks, but 12 weeks is really the average, all right? And most of these bootcamps, what they do is they provide accelerated learning. They provide accelerated learning, provide intensive accelerated learning with curriculums. And one key characteristics of a bootcamp too is hands-on projects. A lot of them want to make sure you have a hands-on project that you can take it to the real world, right? Or talk about it in the real world. So if you're building a software, you're building a web app or some other digital tool that you're building, right? Let's say a web app, right? They might have you build a website with Angular and Node and, do the front end and tie it all up. Something that can actually be used or you can actually talk about, very hands-on. So there is some appeal to this, and it's no surprise that, boot camps are becoming very popular these days for people that are looking to get into IT. Now, I can keep going on into this read here to really get some alternatives or some ideas into bootcamps, but I'll let you check this out for yourself. Now, let's look at the next link that I came across here, and this just was a quick search that gave a list of some of the bootcamps that are available out there, right? This is the top 50 ones as of 2019. But as you can imagine, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of these bootcamps that are available, coming in different sizes, different flavors, different specialties, and each one, having its own value proposition. So if you're really looking for a bootcamp, I can guarantee that you will find something, right? But just to do a quick review here, Wagon, I hope I pronounced that correctly. It's an option. I think it has different locations, it has its specialities and the subjects, and it also has a cost, right? Same with Ab Academy, same with Iron Hack, and you can keep going to really analyze these bootcamps, what they provide, and what's in for you, or if it aligns with your objectives. All right. So I hope this gives us a background of bootcamps, right? It's a learning environment, very intensified, accelerated learning. You pick a technology or a specialty within 12 weeks or so, 28 weeks or less. You learn and master this subject very quickly, and you deploy to the workforce and hopefully get a job with it. Now that we've talked about bootcamps, should you do it? And the reason why we're doing this article as a relevant read from Matt Upham is maybe bootcamp is not for you. And why would that be the case? Well, let's look at what Matt has to say. And I like how he starts here to say he went to a bootcamp for 2 years ago, right? And so he's talking from experience. And for disclaimer, for myself, I haven't been to a bootcamp, so a lot of what I'm talking about is really from anecdotal experience or talking to people who come to me for advice and for feedback, right? They're looking to get into IT, they're considering going to college or doing a bootcamp or just trying to figure out what options they have. And so that's really where a lot of my experience comes from. But I think in combination with what Matt has to provide here, you can get a lot of nuggets from this read. So that said, let's look at the first one. You don't like software or technical thinking. Guys, this couldn't be any more obvious than it states. If you do not like PCs, you don't like working in front of computers, you don't like programming, you don't like coding, you don't like solving technical problems or thinking technically, then why would you want to go to a bootcamp? It's very obvious, right? Because bootcamps are painful. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of dedication, it's a lot of commitment, right? And if it's not something you're passionate about and it's not something that you like doing, guys, there's no need even bothering. So that's really a first and very obvious point. The second one is influence on family and friends, right? We all know IT these days is hard, right? We're looking at Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and all these technical people on TV are becoming famous and people are liking them, right? Gone are the days where geeks were usually the ones that people did not really care for. Right now we see geeks becoming millionaires, right? They're building apps, they're creating websites, they're doing all amazing stuff, and they're getting rich. And so family might be putting a lot of pressure for you to go to a bootcamp so you can hopefully create the next app that will take the family out of poverty. So that pressure could be very high on you, but you have to do it for the right reasons, right? If it's not something you're passionate about, don't even bother, right? If it's just the money that's taking you into this, you might really want to think twice about it, because boot camps are challenging. IT is challenging, right? It's not just all fun and games. And if you're going into something that you don't have any passion for, despite the pressure, you will not succeed. Or even if you succeed, not as much as you could succeed somewhere else. So you also have to think about opportunity cost, right? What else could you be doing with your time that you care more about than going to a boot camp? So something to think about. A little bit more philosophical, but still worth thinking about. Now, the third one is you can't afford to devote yourself to build habits and handle stress. Guys, this just goes into discipline. I think we can summarize this into discipline. If you cannot have discipline, you cannot have grit, then you will not succeed through the demands of a boot camp. Or more importantly, you will not succeed through the rigor of working in IT day to day as a professional. Right? We're talking about 80 hours a week going through a boot camp here to study. It's a lot of demands, right? And if you don't have the discipline, you don't have the grit, you don't have the systems in place to help you succeed, it could be very, very, very challenging to pull it through. So it's really up to you to build those habits. It's really up to you to set up the systems, understand the routines, and be able to, do what you say and say what you do, so you can eventually succeed. Now, the fourth or the fifth piece, I believe, is the fifth. Yeah, the fifth piece here talks about the cost. It can be expensive. As a matter of fact, it is expensive to go to some of these boot camps because you have to pay, right? This is a lot of these are not charity. You might see some that are charity and they do it for free, but this is business, right? So people are out to make money, and so to learn, you gotta have to pay for it. Some of them are going up to 20K, $20,000. Guys, that's a lot of money, right? And you see, talks about guarantees of jobs after employment and guaranteed placements, and nobody can guarantee anything, right? So knowing that you're spending a lot of money for nothing that's guaranteed, right? If somebody is guaranteeing you a job after employment, you have to really think twice about trusting that person, because nothing can be guaranteed. And some of these companies, I know this is not a review video. It's just a commentary. But some of these companies would just inflate their statistics or just put out pure BS statistics about 90% of our candidates get jobs, right? How can you prove that? Or what kind of jobs are they getting? Is it really jobs worth it? Is it really worth this money? What else could you be doing with your $20,000, right? If you started a business with that, could you do something more interesting with that money than just going to a boot camp? So this is really something to think about, right? Because it's not free, it costs money, and you want to make sure you're deploying your money towards something that will give you the most value and not just be pressured by everybody else to get in. Last but not least, and this honestly, guys, was my favorite reading this article when I did the first time. You can learn on your own. You can learn on your own. You can learn on your own. I cannot stress this piece. I cannot stress this piece. It seems like these days people feel like somebody else has to teach them something to learn, forgetting that we live in an age where information is so abundant. If you go on YouTube, right, and you search for big data, Hadoop, machine learning, AWS, Azure, right, Google Cloud, anything you want to learn about, more than likely you'll find dozens and dozens of videos that will teach you those concepts, right? And you just have to be self-driven to do that. I know people want to always play it safe and put the responsibility on for somebody else to teach them, right? And say, well, I paid your money, so you should teach me. And if I don't know what I should know, it's because it's your fault and you didn't teach this to me. No, guys, I think it's about time to start taking responsibility too and being able to learn. Information, access to information is not the problem, right? And if you just have that discipline and have that understanding that your learning is up to you, I feel that a lot of people can go far without cashing out, a lot of money, to $20,000 for a bootcamp, right? And there are options where you can learn online for way cheaper. We're talking about $50 or free, right? Sites like Udemy, Coursera, some of these sites are offering very, very rigorous, amazing courses for free or for very cheap, right? And so you really have to make that choice, right? I understand that the structure here might be less than the structure you'll find in a boot camp, but you have to make the choice, right? Can't you discipline yourself enough to keep $20,000 in your pocket and still learn, or you have to give it to somebody else to just give you structure, right? Are you paying for structure or are you paying for content? So, but that's a choice that you have to make. No one can make that choice for you. So, but just understanding that you can learn on your own, that's an option. And people seem to forget about it these days as everyone is racing towards boot camps, right? And you also have to understand that the boot camps do not give you like a diploma. They don't give you a degree like a university. It's not as far as I know. I should preface that these are not, some of them are not, or they are not accredited, right? So you can have a bachelor's degree from a boot camp. So, and that's an opportunity cost as well. So you have to look at it and say, what are you doing with your money here, and what is it you want? And those are things you have to really take into consideration before diving into a bootcamp. All right. So guys, I hope this helps. I think this was an interesting article, a relevant read I wanted to share with you guys. I know people are reaching out to me constantly, trying to get into IT. Some don't know where to start. Some have heard about boot camps. But I really like this article because it takes a contrarian view why you should not go to a boot camp. And if you can overcome the reasons why you should not go to a boot camp and confidently feel like yeah, I can overcome all these reasons, then maybe you should go. But if you have some doubts, guys, maybe think about what you're doing to make sure that you're making the most optimal and the right decision for your career, for your family, and for your future, right? Just to summarize this, if you don't like technical stuff, if you're not a geek and you don't care about geeky stuff and you prefer to sell or be with people and do something else, then really, this might not be for you. Or you might want to find a program that teaches you what you really care about, right? Don't just do it for family and friends or for the fame. Do it for the right reasons, right? You should be passionate about it. You should be passionate about building apps. You should be passionate about creating, software to help people or solving technical problems. If you don't care about that, then maybe this isn't for you, right? And if you cannot make the time and be dedicated with discipline to do what you say you do, guys, you'll fail in the bootcamp and you'll probably fail at a lot of things that you try to do. So discipline is very key. It costs money. Of course, bootcamps cost money, and so you also have to have that in the back of your mind. If you're spending money towards boot camps, what is the opportunity cost? What could that money be doing for you? What else could that money be doing for you? So it's not just the amount of money you spend here. You're thinking about, what if you invested this in real estate? Or what if you invested this money in a business or in the stock market? What else could you get out of that? So you have to do those considerations before diving in. All right. Last but not least, you can always learn on your own. You can always learn on your own. We live in an information age of abundant information. There's really no excuse to not have access to information. And I think the biggest challenge here could be discipline, right? If you don't have the discipline to learn on your own, I doubt if a bootcamp would really give you the discipline you're looking for. All right. So I hope this helped, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Again, make sure you subscribe to Matt's channel. I think it was a great article. Thank you, Matt, for presenting this for relevant reads. And for you guys, also make sure you subscribe to my channel below. Leave a comment if you have any comments around this. Have you been to a bootcamp? What was your experience? I'm really, really excited to hear what you guys have to say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.